remember one thing my mom said. She said, don't let anyone ever tell you what to wear. I don't think that I was always considered beautiful, but it didn't matter because what mattered was what I thought of myself. And also I got to let my racket do the talking. Hi, this is Venus Williams, and this is my Glamour Unfiltered. Definitely for years I wore a bunch of eyeliner. And now I've moved on to lashes as opposed to liner. But it was definitely like this eyeliner. I figured it was like my suit when I walked on the court, and called it the Eyeliner Club. Serena and I seemed to be the only ones in it, but we were in it to win it. I think that's probably like my favorite part of is like wearing makeup at, in a sporting job. That's really fun. When you walk out knowing you look great, you feel great, you're ready to play. For us, it was always important to know where you are, who you are, because if you don't know who you are in your history, you'll have no idea what you need to do to be ready for the world. My parents definitely pushed history on us to know the history of the world, history of African Americans. I think especially in challenges that we face in the world when you're different or a minority. And honestly, each and every lesson was important, but I think the most important one was that for us not to see color, that didn't matter. For my parents, it was like, you don't need to see color. People might see your color, but that's not how you see the world. So I think it's important for each and every parent to teach their child that. Yeah, at the time I didn't know that I was different, and now I realize how much very different I was, but difference is what makes the world beautiful. And I think people really can see that now in terms of what Serena and I have accomplished in the sport and what that has meant and how it's elevated even the world in that sense. People necessarily didn't know my culture, so when people saw that we were wearing braids and beads, they may have thought that it was unique. But people from my own culture would have realized, oh wow, this is something that young girls do. So I feel like I'm still educating people about my culture, one at a time. Like, this is normal. Like, people of African descent or with ethnic hair, we often do wear braids, we often do wear beads, and those sorts of things have very deep meanings actually from the origins. What matters is that you don't lose yourself as an individual, and that you know who you are individually, and you also know what works for you, and that you don't have to be everyone. I think that's something that a lot of young women are facing right now, is this pressure to look standardized. And I've never gone for that. I always wanted to look like me. I always felt less comfortable if I was pushed into something that was everyone else. And I think that influence definitely comes from my family and my parents, that pushed individuality, confidence in yourself. And playing sports, I believe, gives you that, because you sit there and you fail and you succeed and you see what it takes to actually be great. And so then hopefully at that point, your standard of greatness and who you are as an individual really becomes something that you relish and grab onto. I don't think that I was always considered beautiful, but it didn't matter because what mattered was what I thought of myself. And also I got to let my racket do the talking. I think that the standard of beauty right now is more inclusive, so that's wonderful. But at the same time, there's tons of pressure. I think the standard of beauty 20, 30 years ago was like, be as thin as possible, And now the standard of beauty is kind of shifted more to like, be as curvy as possible. And now there's pressure to augment yourself to fit into the standard somehow. And that's not realistic. So either standard wasn't realistic, but I'm happy that it's more inclusive at this point. And like I said, it's about knowing yourself. You just got to know you, be comfortable with you, accept you. And if that means also augmenting, that's fine too, as long as you accept yourself. I've always worked in rest periods, and my parents taught us that too. So they never wanted us to, because on tour you could play every week, literally. So you would also go crazy and break your body. That balance is important, and burnout is real, and you have to find your balance. For me, it's the end of the day, just like I have my 2 hours of quiet and nobody's there, no one's talking. I guess when you have kids, you could still have that, you put them to bed or something. And then you might have a husband or significant other. I don't know how you quiet them, but I don't know how any of this works outside of a single life, but I've got my little routines that work for me. I've had a single life for a long time, and I think it's really easy to get stuck in a single life, and sometimes, at least for me, harder to get out of a single life. So that's probably something I'm working on now. I guess for other people, like they were running to a relationship, which has never been my thing per se. So we're all different. This is how I work and function, and I'm okay with it and can't hold on to either a relationship or to singleness. You have to be able to move at the time, and even if you don't want to or aren't ready, you just gotta go with it. I'm not ready to grow up. I gotta grow up. Yeah, in my household, money was not emphasized. I mean, obviously you want to be successful, but it wasn't like you don't chase dollars. So I grew up with that mentality of money not being a god, and that in this sense, in this world, it is a god. People are chasing it, and stabbing themselves over with many pains and other people. So if we all could kind of see money a little bit different, probably would have a lot less issues in the world. So that helps you to actually make decisions that are good for you, healthy for you, and have less pressure too. So I didn't feel the pressure at a young age to have to sign a contract because of money. And is very freeing. When I was growing up, I just wanted to play tennis and go win tournaments. And then when I got there, it was not equal. And you're like, hold it, presses, what's going on? So being a part of achieving equal prize money for women at the major tennis tournaments was fantastic. And now, of course, it's my dream that women will not have to face that anywhere. No young girl will have to come in and realize that her male counterpart is being paid more. And hopefully these gaps will continue to close. But in order to close those gaps, we have to do work, and we also have to create awareness, because most people don't wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, gosh, so-and-so is getting paid less than so-and-so. So it's so important to change these mentalities at every single level, whether it's the employee or management, leadership, et cetera, on and on and on. Yeah, Serena and I are very codependent. We do the same thing that the other one does. I mean, it's just happened again last week. It just goes on and on. It's an endless cycle. When we're 80 years old, and like, I want to do it too, But it's more of a motivation. And when I see her doing great, it's my success, but it's also motivating for me, and it lets me know I also can do that. And that's how you have to look at other people's success. It's something that builds you up, something that motivates you. I love seeing people do great. I love seeing people do well. I don't like to see anyone fail. I like to see my opponents lose against me. But other than that, I like to ride that energy that other people bring with success. I want to be a part of that. And that's the attitude that I like to have. And Serena has taught me so much. And there's so much you can learn just from being around greatness. And that's what she is, the greatest ever. Oh my gosh, boundaries are so important in life. If you don't have them, anything's gonna happen. I remember one thing my mom said. She said, don't let anyone ever tell you what to wear. And I remember taking that to heart. She's like, I used to wear my short skirts, and I still wear short skirts. And she says, how long are you gonna wear short skirts? And I'm like, until infinity and beyond. Those kinds of lessons are so important. And I think we're learning that so much today, right? With the mental health crisis that's around the world, that you do have to set healthy boundaries, and you have to do that work on yourself to set boundaries so that way you aren't afraid. And once you let go of that fear, then the whole world's open to you. Faith is extremely important to me. First of all, without faith, then what do you have? It can be scary. Second is that for me, it gives me guidelines to follow, and it helps you not to be alone. So you're not having to make all these decisions alone. You're not having to wonder maybe what's right and what's wrong. It allows you to have that safety blanket, and actually keeps you safe. We all make mistakes. I make lots of them, but I'm always trying to align back to center. Definitely being healthy, especially with what I do as an athlete. If I'm not healthy, I can't do it. So every day that I'm healthy these days, I'm very, very excited about it. I'm like excited to wake up and go play. Health keeps me connected to gratitude, because without it, you have nothing. Definitely having spiritual aspect to your life makes you gracious, and it's something you have to practice. If you don't practice it, it's just gonna be something that's in the background too. There's lots of articles, lots of people, lots of blogs, lots of Twitters. There's a lot. So you have to kind of shield yourself from that, so that way you can really meditate on what you think. And also being proactive about your thinking, and you can actually train your mind to think the way you want to if you put in the time. And also another one is just not caring. I just don't care. I just don't care what anyone thinks, and I don't have time. You're not gonna live my life. You're not gonna breathe for me. My heart's not gonna beat for you, and deuces. it takes a long time to accept it, especially as an athlete. I create my realities. So to have a reality pushed on you is something that is not really acceptable. So I think it takes time to like, okay, yeah, this is a thing, you know? And of course, it was important for me to fight for my best health. Yeah, definitely. I thought that I just didn't have to protect my skin because I already had natural SPF, and it wasn't until, my mid-30s that I realized, gosh, I'm wrong. Now when I play, even in the Florida heat, when it's 90 degrees and I think I might die, I'm in long sleeves and pants. It's rough. And I'm in sunscreen as much as I can through the profuse sweating that I do and the reapplications. But it's so important. Your skin's your biggest organ. You have got to take care of it by what you put in it. I don't remember which one it was. There were so many together, but I wore like this Dolce & Gabbana dress and it had like a silver bodice and I just felt like me. I was so happy. I was happy for a week. I was so happy because I was like, this is me. This is absolutely me. I was on cloud 9. Setting your intentions is extremely important and you have to put work behind it too. So mind, body, action, it all works together. That's so important. I suppose it's called manifesting today. Back in in the 80s, it was called having a plan and having some goals. So, same thing, I guess. Manifesting sounds a lot smoother. I love a clapback. It's so fun. My mom, Orsine, did not allow microaggressions in the home, and she would not allow us to have people be that passive aggressive around. So I never had to deal with that in my life, and I have a very short fuse for it. Some people like drama, and that's their choice. I think a lot of people who have drama in their lives, that's what they like. They like it. So I stay out of it. And with my friends, I give them maybe one advice, and then, people know. You don't have to say things more than once. You don't have to beg anyone. I'm not in the begging business. I'm a real chill girl, so your choice. Oh, my legacy. I think that it's not something I think about. I know that sounds crazy, or I don't know. Do people wake up and think about legacies? I'm in the right now. I have a tournament coming up. I'm trying to play. So it's like, what am I going to achieve in this moment? I've always been so forward looking. And I think a legacy isn't as important as just enjoying your life